Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to everyone out there, and welcome to the very first episode. I'm doing a series titled Dear Alpha Female, based on my new book. If you guys are new here, my name is Christal Jordan, and this is my channel From Christal with Love XO. And I thought, with this new book, with all the other relationship conversations I have here, I thought it would be great to start with basically my own love story and what prompted me to write this book. I try to share a lot of myself in interviews and conversations. And so tonight I am putting myself on the hot seat, or at least being a little bit more vulnerable than I usually am. And this book is to my sisters, but it's also to myself. And the relationship that I am in now, I got married about a year and a half ago. And so I thought, with all this conversation about alpha females and how it's often difficult for us to relax and trust when it comes to love, I thought, I'm going to show the people that actually, trust and watch my channel and actually invest time into sharing time with me and hearing what I'm saying. Put my money where my mouth is and show you guys that this book is really about women like myself. That's why I feel like I was qualified to write about it and help other women, because I went through a similar situation and still am going through that myself. And so I decided to invite my husband on today to join us. And so he's going to be coming and joining me in just a minute. And we're going to talk about our love story and the difficulties that we dealt with, me being very, very, very career driven. And really, I kind of had given up on love to a real extent. I had decided that I was going to be comfortable and content with being single. I liked where my life was. I didn't have a lot of patience for dating. And so I was at a place in life that, if you listen to what the internet says, if you listen to some of the people that were on social media talking, I was a woman in my early 40s, single. I had been married. I had two children. Definitely. I was very vested in my career. Definitely it just didn't seem like there were a lot of options out there for me. And if you listen, like I said, to what social media is saying, a lot of the narrative is that Black women over a certain age don't get married. Black women that are very career driven don't get married. And I had kind of decided that I was okay if that was my end, right? So I wasn't out here. I would, date for a while, then I would stop dating for years at a time. And I really had decided that it was the guys that I would meet. Maybe there weren't any good guys out there, and I gave up, And at that point is when I went on Iyanla Van Zant, and things changed. But I wanted to, like I said, I'm inviting my husband to join me today because I just felt like that was the best place to start with talking about this new book. Dear Alpha Female, it's not him, it's you. It is an interactive devotional designed to help you attract the love you deserve. And that's what I felt has happened to me. And so if you guys just hang out here with me in about 5 minutes, my husband is going to join me and we're just going to have a very candid conversation. I have no idea what he is going to say. So it's going to be interesting. But right now, I want to welcome you guys. Those of you that are joining, please drop, as always, an XO in the chat to let me know that you can hear me. Let me know that the sound is okay. We're in a little bit of a different space. Tonight, I have my Dear Alpha Female sign. And so if you can hear me, make sure that you drop that in the chat. I also want to make sure that you guys can hear and that everything is clear, because when he comes, I want you all to be able to ask questions. If you have questions about, for him, from a man's perspective, he has agreed to be candid and be honest and be open. And like I said, I have no idea what he is going to say. So I want you all to feel free to put your questions in the chat for either of us as we kind of share this our love story. Hey, LaShawn. Hey, Creative Musings. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm excited on this Sunday evening. Social media has gone crazy today with everything that we see online about Chris Rock. And did anybody see Chris Rock's special last night on Netflix? What are you guys' thoughts on that? Just real quickly before we get into this discussion about love and romance and alpha females and all this stuff, just a little lightness for the evening. I will let you guys know what I think first. First of all, I think it's really unfortunate that that situation happened last year. It was very disturbing to see Will act out that way towards Chris. Um, you know, it was just unfortunate. It's unfortunate because basically we see two people in pain. We see Chris Rock was humiliated. I cannot imagine how it must have felt to have that happen to you on camera in front of not just your peers, but the entire world. That had to be extremely humiliating. You know, like people are saying his manhood was tested. And then also Will Smith, who's practiced having a very stellar career. And for him to come unhinged at that point, it just was really unfortunate. And I I understand Chris Rock. I definitely understand, and I'm glad that he got a chance to speak for himself. I'm glad that he had a chance to do it in a professional way. But it just seemed like a man in pain and humiliation. And I also know that Will Smith is probably reopened some of his wounds as well as his wife. So anyway, I just think it's an unfortunate situation, but life is not perfect, and I really wish that both sides would be able to heal. I think no good deed goes unpunished, and also no negative deed goes unpunished either. So I think what Chris Rock said last night was fair from his perspective. But in any case, I just wondered if anybody saw that and what you guys' thoughts were on that. That's not the topic for tonight's conversation. Tonight, I want to share with you guys my personal love story. It has not been perfect. It's definitely not perfect now, but I feel like everything that we go through is an opportunity to share and teach others. And so that's what this is about. I personally was in my early 40s. I had been married before and was divorced. I was with my ex husband for about 13 years. We were divorced in my early 30s. We got married at 20, you know, in college. Not the smartest thing, but I do believe that young love can work with guidance and mentorship and examples of positivity around you. But in any case, I was single for probably around 11 years and had kind of given up on love. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, if you guys don't know. And Atlanta, especially, has this stereotype of being a place that you cannot find an amazing man. And even though I know better, I'm a part of the media, so I understand how the media is able to shape opinion and perspective. I had kind of given into it. You know, I was dating and I did not enjoy dating. Getting married at 20, I was married from like 20 to 32. So I did not know how to date. I hated dating. And I was in the entertainment industry, which was even a worse place to date. And so I just wanted to come on and, like I said, today is going to be the very first. I'm going to do these every week. Every week, we're going to go over a chapter from this book, Dear Alpha Female, It's Not Him, It's You. And if you guys do not have the book, you can get it. It is available on Amazon. It's available at Barnes and Noble. It's available at Walmart. But most importantly, it is available on my website. You can go to dearalphafemale.com and you can get your copy of the book. But we are getting ready to welcome my honey bunny, Adrian, to the show in about 1 or 2 minutes. He's going to join me and we're just going to share, you know, our story. We met and, you know, it definitely wasn't perfect. He's been married before. He has 4 daughters. I have 2 children. Blending families has been difficult. That has probably been one of our biggest difficulties, has been blending the families. Is the door locked? Yes. Okay, hold on, you guys, 2 seconds. I'm going to put some music on, and when I come back, Adrian's going to be with me, and we're going to get into this conversation. You guys give me 2 seconds. I will be right back. Hold on. Okay, and we are back. We are back, and this is the first time you've been on my show.
Yes.
Guys, this is my husband, Adrian, and I'm welcoming him to the show. This is the first time you guys have gotten a chance to see him. So, I wanted to come on. First of all, I'm glad that you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
So, I wanted us to be able to come on because, I wrote this book and I've been doing interviews, a lot of interviews and talking about our love story.
Mhm.
Right. And a big part of the conversation is alpha females, right? And women that are very career driven. And when you and I met, I was extremely career driven. I'm still career driven, but
Yes,
I was
yes.
extremely career driven. So before we get into how we met, I want you to kind of introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about you and what your dating experience was before you and I met.
Um, well, I'm glad to be here finally. First of all, I don't know if I was paying attention from the get go. The Atlanta dating scene is rough. Um, but the thing of it is, I don't know if she told you I was married before. I haven't been married before, but I didn't give up. That's one of the main things that I am proud of myself about,
Okay.
not giving up. And to find you, I mean, it it always wasn't peaches and cream,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always it's what you put into it. You put into it, you're gonna get out of it.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this, because I asked him because I felt like if I was a man, I would have had a great experience dating right here in Atlanta. I feel like it's a lot easier for men to date. What was your experience like? Do you feel like it's difficult for men dating, and if so, what makes it so difficult for men?
um, I think social media plays a big part in a lot of stuff, um, because a lot of people always want to see what the Joneses and Jacksons are doing,
Mm-hmm.
and you know if if a guy is keeping up, trying to keep up with that, it's gonna be hard because social media puts stuff out there so much that how can you compete with everything being great?
Yeah.
So
Do you think men feel like they have to compete like with other men, or like what was for you the most difficult part about dating here in Atlanta?
um, the biggest thing was people actually caring. I think that's the biggest aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I mean, you hear a lot of men talk about, you know, when I'm with my fellows or whatever, they be like, man, these girls, man, they be tripping. They always talking about, how much money they got and, blah, 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 this and that. And but the thing of it is, no matter how much money you got, you always need someone to love you,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, the thing about me dating, it was rough. It was rough a little bit, but it wasn't clicking.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta have somebody that I'm compatible with.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, I don't care if a woman makes more money than me or not. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing of it all is, how much does she love me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm just gonna pour the same out to her, or probably even do more if she just loves me. No, I don't care what compatible, you know, capacity. I'm sorry, capacity that she
Mm-hmm.
is all about, that connection.
So, guys, if you guys can hear us, because I see things kind of went quiet. If you can hear us, please drop an XO. If you have a question for me or for Adrian, this is really for you guys to ask questions. I have so many women that come to me and are like, Christal, can you help me find love like you did? And I'm like, I can try. I can tell you what I did, but I wanted to bring my husband on so you guys could kind of ask him questions and kind of get his perspective of this. So, you just said you didn't really care if a woman made more money than you, or you didn't care if she was, very career driven. But when we first met, part of me working all the time was an issue. So talk a little, and let me ask you this: had you met other women that were very career driven before dating me?
I have, but the thing of it is, like when somebody really pours into their work and and it's like one of my friends, we was talking, like your job is your boyfriend or your
Mm-hmm.
husband or whatever like that. And the thing about it was, I want my attention too.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, how can you compete with something that you're more focused on than focusing on what you have at home?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
But when we first started dating, you weren't home yet, right? So I said the other day when I was in the interview, I would go on dates sometimes with guys, and I would be answering emails or answering text messages for work. I believe I did that with you.
You did. You did. You definitely did.
Okay.
You definitely did.
Okay. Did that bother you?
It bothered me a little bit, but the thing of it is, like, one thing I had to learn um, about you were I had to be patient, because if I always wanted, that right now, right now, right now,
Mm-hmm.
all that's going to do is cause conflict.
Yeah.
So the thing about it, I just was patient with you. It's got to be patient. It's got to be patient.
He said he was patient with me. I was patient with him too. Jay said, "How did you guys meet?" So, um, it's funny because I had taken a break on dating, and I really hadn't planned on dating again. And a guy that I knew from business years ago had kind of like asked me out, and I wasn't really interested in dating him. And so this guy invited me into but he knew I was single, so he invited me into a singles group that was on Facebook, and it was a private singles group. And it was supposed to be like, specifically, you had to have a referral to get invited into the group. And I got invited, and so I accepted the invite. And we had started to hear like I we had started to hear things about COVID, and things were starting to like get kind of scary as far as like what the news was talking about. It wasn't here yet, but it was over in China. And so I remember I was listening to the news and I was working, and I was like, you know what? I just need to get my mind, I turned the news off and just get my mind off of everything, because I do marketing and PR. And so I was a little concerned about if something happened, the way they were talking, what this could do to my business. So I went on Facebook and I just introduced myself in this group. I really was not expecting to be serious, because I had decided I didn't want to date online anymore, because I tried to date like on Tinder and Bumble, and I didn't like it. So I really wasn't expecting it was just something to get my mind off of it, right? So I had been in the group. I introduced myself and I was like, my name is Christal. I put up a couple of pictures. I put up a picture of myself at the mayor's ball the year before with my girlfriends. And I, on that thread, like 4 guys reached out to me, and Adrian was one of those guys. What were you doing in the group?
Well, one of my friends knew that I had a bad relationship, and he was like, "Man, you know, you get through it. You know, like I always tell you, one monkey don't stop a show."
Mm-hmm.
But he put me into this group, and I accepted the invite, and it just, I think maybe the second or third day I was on there, I had saw you, and that's when I just said hello.
He said hello. He said hello. And so I had my Facebook Messenger chat open. He said hello, and like said 3 other guys did too. So I was talking to like 4 people at the same time. And no, not player. I wasn't serious. And then he said, "Can we FaceTime?"
Yeah.
And then we FaceTime, and then it was just like,
Yeah.
that was it. So we went on a private Facebook group. And so there's another question: is what did you both come from 2-parent households, and do you think that had an influence on your mindset toward marriage? I did not come from a 2-parent household. My mother and father were not together. And I didn't grow up with my father at all. I've shared this in my story before. My dad actually was on drugs. And so my mother moved us away. I didn't have a relationship with my dad at all. In fact, I didn't really have a positive idea of marriage in my life growing up at all. So I think that really hurt me, especially in my first marriage.
Well, I came from a 2-parent household, yes and no. My father died when I was 11 years old. So from the time that I was born until 11, I had my mom and my dad, set an example. And we all know around the age 10, 11, that's when, a boy and his father really, start getting together and, that mindset of becoming a man. So, but my mom raised me, and I had great cousins and uncles, and my grandfather actually uh, played a major part in how I seen marriage. My mother and my grandfather were together for 50.
My grandmother and your grandfather.
Yeah, my grandmother and my grandfather was together for 55 years, I want to say. And everything ain't peaches and cream.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was instilled in me, and then all my uncles and stuff, they were married, and seeing the family dynamics of how they work and things like that. I always knew that I wanted to be married.
Well, I did notice that because he was definitely marriage minded. Another question is, what attracted you to each other? Um, why are you laughing?
I'm just messing with you.
I know why he's laughing. I'm gonna let him tell you that part. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie. So when he reached out to me on Facebook, I went to his Facebook page and I looked through all his pictures like before I responded, because you want to make sure, like, what does this person look like, and like, are they do they present themselves the type of way that I would want to? And so what I saw on his page was that he was obviously had been in the military, and that he was a father, and he was like, all his pages about his daughters, and I thought that was very attractive. So, and he's cute, right? He's cute.
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, in a joking setting,
mm-hmm.
It was your. Nah, I ain't gonna say
it. you can say it.
It was a booty. Nah, I'm just messing with you.
He's not. He's not. He is not. Now I hope it was more than that, but we went on our first date.
Yep.
And I think I had on like jeans or something, and it wasn't. And so then I came back home. We went horseback riding. I came back home and I changed into something else, and he was just like, "Whoa, I didn't know you had like."
I didn't know you was handling like that. But the thing that attracted the main thing that really attracted me to Christal was the fact that there was no judgment. She never judged me in anything that I do. I've had rough relationships. I've had rough times throughout my life. I am a 20-year vet. I did 20 years in the military, and deployed to Iraq when they first went on that mission. And my mindset wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing of it is, when you and I started talking, the main thing that I asked you was, don't judge me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the main thing, the main thing that attracted me to you was because you never, throughout all the things that I've told you and the things that I've been through, you always said it's going to be okay, and that there was no judgment.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Iris C. Says you guys make a gorgeous couple. Thank you. I am so interested in waiting for Christal's love story. Thank you guys. Thank you for supporting and actually being interested, because I really think that it's important to share positivity. So I was like, if I'm going to be talking to people, you guys know I interview a lot of people about love story, their love story, and about relationships. We actually have one of the guys from Ready to Love is on tomorrow night at 8. But I wanted to make sure that I came and was just honest with you guys about my own personal experience, because I think, like I said, the most thing I hear from women in my DMs or my the people that reach out to me even on YouTube is, can you help me? Can I have this same thing? And I honestly believe that everyone has the ability to find love if you're open to it. People are thanking you for your service, man.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. No, my an old service member told me one time, I thank you for supporting me.
Yeah, and your daughter just became.
Oh yeah. My daughter. I got one of my daughters into the military. She's in basic training as we speak, and she called me today, and you just see, when she called me, Christal seen the my face just light up. I'm a proud. It's Proud Dad Sunday. That's the hashtag Proud Dad Sunday.
So I want to get into the specific things that I had to deal with, he mentioned that I didn't judge him. And I will tell you guys, that's something that I feel like I was in a better place after going to therapy and even after my experience on Iyanla Van Zant with judging people, because it's not that I would judge other people, but I would judge myself. And I think that I was so afraid of being hurt. I got really hurt in my first relationship. My first marriage ended and I was heartbroken. Right. And I really, really, really was afraid to venture back out. In fact, a lot of times it felt safer for me not to, put my heart back out there. And so one of the things that I did that I had to work really hard on was giving people a chance and not running at the very first sign of something that did not seem perfect. So I want to ask you, because we've laughed and talked about it, for what was your first initial, because when we first met, I really didn't think I didn't think that our first date, I didn't even really remember we were supposed to go on a date.
And he was late.
I was late. He came to pick me up at my house and I was still asleep because, again, I wasn't really serious. And I also had just dealt with a lot of guys that just were not serious. Right. And so I just was like, I'm not really putting a lot of energy. I put a lot of energy into work and I put a lot of energy into my children. I just really didn't feel like I should put a lot of energy into dating. But I was trying to do things differently. So he was there early. I think it's because of his military experience. We were supposed to meet at 8. He was at my house at like 7:40. And I was like sleep still
in the bed. Like I had to call her. Like
he woke me up. I was knocked out sleep. So then I didn't. Then that's not good because then you're not able to like get yourself looking right. So I was like, I didn't have like a lot of makeup on. We were going horseback riding because I had shared with him that I love horses and I like to horseback ride, and so he said he liked to do that. So we were going horseback riding, but I'm going to tell you guys, and I've said this, if you saw a few weeks ago, I put up 10 tips on dating for alpha females. For me, I used to control the date, right? So I would always tell a man when I first met him that I would meet him out. I would never really let anyone come to my house. Part of that was for safety. And another part of it was just because you just never know if you want the person to know where you live, because you may need to ghost them or something afterwards. So I didn't necessarily want them to know where I live. So the fact that I let him come to my house made me very uncomfortable. Because I preferred to meet him out, and he was like, no, I want to come pick you up.
Well, the thing about like going back to that upbringing about the 2-parent home, one thing about my mom, my mom, after my father died, my mom never remarried. She never remarried. She never dated, but she always told me that a man needs to be a man. That's one thing. A lot of people say, well, women can't teach a boy about a man
to be a man. Yeah,
but in some cases, a woman can. Not saying that he's going to be a total man, but he can she can tell you how to treat a woman. And that's one thing that my mom taught me. She taught me as a man how to treat a woman. You open doors. You give a kiss every time you walk in the house. Just the normal things that you see on TV. Life can't be like TV, but in some incidents it can. But how did I feel? About coming to get you? I just made it my point because. One thing about what I noticed from our conversations when we was dating and stuff, that you did run everything. and the thing about it, I wanted to set the standard at the beginning. Hey, no, you're not meeting me out. I'm gonna come get you. Because I wanted you to know that, hey, I am dependable. I think that was the aspect of what I was trying to prove.
You did. So you could tell people what happened. Because I was nervous, guys. I was so nervous. First of all, if you guys are just joining, this is Christal Jordan, of course, and my husband Adrian has joined me today for the very first time on my show.
On her show.
Because we're talking about my love story. It is the beginning of Dear Alpha Female, and I just thought sharing my love story in its entirety would be a great way to start this series off. We'll have the first one next weekend, and hopefully people will start to join, and we'll actually have other people be able to come on live with me and ask questions. But I wanted to start with him so you guys could kind of see what the basis of this is, because to me, when I hear people giving me advice about relationships, I like to know what does their stuff look like, right? So what is this? So I just want to be very honest and transparent with people that trust me enough to watch this channel. I appreciate and really respect that. So I wanted to be honest. So if you guys are listening, if you have not, make sure that you like this, make sure that you're subscribed so that you can be a part of this new movement. Yes, click the bell button and all that stuff that I hate saying on here, but we need to, because I want people to really get this information. But we're sharing our love story. This is the love story. It actually, Essence Magazine did a story on it, and I've been able to share a lot with my book, but I just thought this was a great way for us to be able to really talk and share about it. So our first date, I'm uncomfortable because Adrian insists on coming to pick me up, and I'm not used to a guy. I was not used to a guy picking me up. And I sent his name and Facebook page to some of my girlfriends to make sure if something happened to me, you know who has me. And then we got in his truck and went horseback riding.
Well, the thing about it, and then once I woke you up, from you being late, it was interesting, and I still can remember. Our first date. I picked you up. You came out there, and you came and got in the truck, and
I didn't let him come in the house. Yeah. I came outside,
which was understandable.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to feel uncomfortable because everything that was going on, COVID, and all this and that, whatever. But when you got in the truck, you was just like hiding yourself over by the door, and I was like, even before we talked, I remember telling you, hey, I said, all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold your hand. You was like, you're not going to hold my hand. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to hold your hand. So I kind of forced myself, I trying to force myself, into her space. And, she held my hand for a little while, but
I snatched it back.
But yeah, she snatched it back.
I didn't feel comfortable holding his hand. I didn't want to hold his hand. I didn't know him.
But the thing of it is that I wasn't going to give up.
He didn't. Hold on. We have another question, a couple more questions. So Jay says, for both of you, do you feel like being in that private group was instrumental in meeting the right person? I think that was the way that we were supposed to meet. I don't think we would have met if we weren't in that group.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
The thing about me, I believe that everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Mm-hmm. The good thing was, yes, we did meet in that group. The thing about it, after talking, you were in the entertainment industry. I was somewhat in the entertainment industry, and you even told me yourself, "Hey, I think I've seen you at one of these places."
I did. I thought so.
But the thing,
I thought he was cute, but I would never talk to him where he was.
Come on now, I'm just messing with you. But the thing of it is that you never expect where you're going to meet.
Yeah.
Someone at. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, I never thought I would meet somebody online.
Yeah.
Because of the fact of it is, we all know how online.
Oh, thank you.
How online things can be. You go out there, you can meet crazy. Blah blah blah. I mean, the whole nine. We all know the story. Mm-hmm. But the thing of it is that you have to give everything a chance. Yeah. If you don't give it a chance, you never know.
Did you meet any other girls in the group?
I did not. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I did meet other people, whatever. But the
did
thing,
you go out with anybody else in the group?
The conversation is.
I never even asked that, guy.
Conversation is everything to me.
Yeah.
My mom told me again, like I'm not saying that I'm a mama's boy or anything, but that is who I grew up with. My mom always told me a woman knows within first 5 minutes if she's gonna sleep with a man or not. That's what she told
I
me.
don't think that's true.
I think it's very true.
I don't think
Um,
so, because I don't think
but the thing about me, I like conversation. If
Mhm.
you can't hold, and then also she also told me if you can't hold a conversation for at least 15 minutes, you have
Mhm.
nothing in common.
That's true.
You know,
That's true.
so uh, I just think that when we started talking, we was honest from the get go.
Mhm.
We were uh, kind of, kind of feeling each other out the whole nine. But the thing of it is, we stayed into it.
Yeah.
We stayed into it.
Angelia Carter asked, how long did we date before getting married? So we dated for a year. We got engaged after a little over a year.
Yeah, we got engaged after
A year, and then we got married about 6 months after that. So about almost 2 years before we got married, but we got engaged after a year. El Remy, thank you so much for joining. You guys, thanks for joining. We are talking about our love story. You guys know I have my new book, Dear Alpha Female. It's not him, it's you. And really, this is this is about my personal love story and the fact that it was. Hey, Mimi, thank you so much for joining. It really was me. I was single for a long time, and when I met Adrian, I'll tell you guys really what made him stand out to me is that everything he ever told me he was going to do, he did. I have never met someone that was that consistent with everything, and it definitely wasn't perfect. I was very committed to work, and when basically things went back to normal with my job, that was a little bit. Don't knock that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That what what?
My bad. I can't get comfortable.
I'll just say I don't want you to knock the sign down, man.
Listen, let me tell you something. all you folks that's out there, right? Let me tell you, this woman is amazing. She's amazing from head to toe. And we all know about. I mean, we talked about this before about the whole Sierra love letter.
Oh yeah, Sierra. What was Sierra's prayer? Yeah.
Okay, it's all about. For me, I'm just gonna say for me, it's all about what you put into. Whatever you put into is what you're gonna get out. Whatever you put out, this is what you're gonna get. But the thing of it is, like for you and I, yeah, we come from two different backgrounds, but our backgrounds kind of intertwine with each other. But the thing of it is that when you talk about consistency or whatever, that was another thing that my mom told me. You're gonna do it, and before my father passed away, that was one thing that he always told me. Your word is, as a man. I'm just saying, as a man, your word is all you got. Because your word is your name. Yeah. If you break your word, what good are you? Yeah. So that was the one thing that I wanted to show you, and then listening to your past or whatever, I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I was all into you. And and that was the basis of me always. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Yeah, and so Angelia asked, "How did I know Adrian was the one?" And that really was it. I admired the fact that he was really in love with his daughters. He has 4 daughters. I have never dated someone that has that many children, but I respected and admired the fact that he really loves his daughters. And I mean, there were pictures all over his Facebook page when we met, and that's the first thing he talked about, was his kids and his what he, his hopes and dreams. As parents, we really want everything for our kids. Hey, Lola. And so I really respected that, and I wanted a man that had integrity. I remember, I think I've shared this before with some of you guys that watch the channel, but I had gone to this 100 Black Men of Atlanta event, and there was a lady there whose husband had passed away, and she got up to receive an award for her husband, and all these people got up to talk about how much of an amazing person he was, not just to his family, but to his community. And I was so moved
by seeing the type of respect that people had for this woman, and how she felt about her husband. And I remember thinking to myself, if I get married again, it's important to me to be with a man that has integrity and is someone that I can respect and that I can feel comfortable, standing beside or even standing behind. Because there weren't a lot of men that I really had a lot of respect and admiration for. And that's what I truly wanted. And I feel like that was, when I got to know him, it wasn't just about how he treated me. It also was about how I saw him treat his friends, how he treated his family, just his work ethic and the way he treated people, other people around him. I just wanted a man that I could truly, truly respect and that I knew was a good person. I have a son, and it was, my son doesn't need a father because he has a father, but I did want to be with someone that I would feel comfortable with them giving my son advice and them setting an example for my son. And that's what I feel like, he is. So it was a lot more than just him being attractive or him being good to me, because a lot of times people can be good to you, but they're just not a good person. And for me, I truly wanted a good person, someone that other people could look up to and respect. And, that makes it easier for me to allow a person to lead if I respect the person that they are. Ebony asked, "What's the hardest battle you guys have had to face together, and how did you get through it together?"
Mm, so many. No, I just messing with you. I think the hardest thing that you and I have been together, I would have to. I mean, I would have to say maybe my unsettledness of having a straight career.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we talked about, 20 years, and 20 years in the military. That's all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to. I can. One thing that the military taught me was shoot, move, and communicate. That was only. I mean, that's the only thing that I'm really good at.
Mm-hmm.
We're having that for 20 years, and I think the transition was the hardest thing to get. Still, and I'm still trying to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
The transition, but I think I really found what I am good at.
Yeah.
Once I'm good at something, and I always, in everything that I do, I always put my all into it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing of it is, I think the transitions of of me, going through different.
Trying to figure out what you
Yeah,
want to do.
yeah.
I would say for me that's definitely one of the things that we had to work out, because you guys, he was in the military for 20 years. When I met him, he had just gotten out. He had been out for what, like 4 or 5 years, like 5 years,
5 years.
5 years. So, and I have done public relations, forever, and I've never changed. Like, so I've had my company since, for 20 years, and so for me, women, we like stability. We like to know, like, what is the plan? What are you doing? And I'm also a very, I like stability, right? I like to, and I don't do a lot of changing. So he's more like, he's done that. And so he was more like trying to figure things out. And I also think that, I've been an entrepreneur since 2005. And I think he was interested in becoming an entrepreneur. And I was like, I've been doing it. It's not easy. And, for him, it's him trying to figure things out. So that was one thing. Also, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, like blending our families together has been challenging. I thought, I had this idea. I've never dated someone that had, children. Actually, I've never really dated anyone that had children, honestly. I didn't really date anyone seriously, but I've never been in a situation where I did date one guy that had one son, but not, I've never, the idea of trying to create like a Brady Bunch. And I thought, I'm a person that loves family. And so I thought, oh, we're all going to come together and everything is going to be great. We're going to have like this big family Christmas. And it's not quite like that, so I had to kind of learn to just, our relationships with our children are different. And so we've kind of had to learn how to, our children were all grown, right? And so Lola is hitting that nail on the head. Daughters don't play with the dad. Trust me. daughters and their dad, and then, my children are very protective of me as well. And so that's something that we've kind of had to just give to God and allow it to grow on its own and try to figure things out. But so for me, I had to kind of learn that things are not going to be perfect, and the way that the relationship that I have with my children is not necessarily the same relationship that he has with his children. And so we have to kind of figure out how that dynamic plays out.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it's everything's not peaches and cream.
Yeah, it's just you got to work through it. Bonsoir, Merland. So what is, I commend you guys for sharing your story. Thank you so much. Christal, do you think it's hard for alpha females to find good guys to date? These days, it seems like guys don't want to approach you. And this question, thank you so much, Jay, for asking that question, because this question is why I wanted to have this conversation. I do believe that it is difficult, right? So I had dated before. I've been a celebrity publicist. A lot of my clients were celebrities and athletes and things like that. There were a lot of guys that I dated that were not comfortable. I won't say that they were intimidated, but I will say they were not comfortable with my job. And I decided years ago, I had a friend that I went to college with that told me that what I did was very unattractive, right? Because he said, you are constantly out, on the scene, and you're with all these other guys that are very wealthy and have a lot of status, and that's not something that a normal guy is going to want to deal with. And so, but I decided then, I remember us having that conversation, and I decided I was not going to be open to changing my job, even if it did make a guy feel uncomfortable. I just wasn't going to change. I just was like, God's going to have to send me somebody that is comfortable with me and that is comfortable with that. But I did have a lot of guys that were not interested, or they would make little slights. I had guys tell me, oh, you're trying to be like a Real Housewife of Atlanta. You think you're this, you think you're that. A couple of guys wanted to take pictures with my clients. That was weird. I went on a date one time with this guy, and, my girlfriend Chili was there, and he's like, I want to take a picture with Chili. And I'm like, it's kind of weird, By the way, Chili wrote the foreword to this book, and I appreciate her being a part of it. She's been one of my best friends for a long time. But let me ask you, how did you feel about that? Because you are the only guy I've ever dated that not only did he not seem to have a problem with my career, but he felt very comfortable, and even met a lot of my guy friends that were, very, very well off and very, status driven and part of the entertainment industry, and they all love him.
Look, one thing about a guy that's secure with himself, like for me, look, if a person thinks that they're better than you, let them think that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the type of person like this. Look, you put your pants on just like I do, one leg at a time, or sometimes both legs. You got the same body parts that I do, the whole nine, blah blah blah. But the thing of it is, I don't care. I don't care about those guys. What I care about is me. You know what I'm saying? And the things that I can do. Because all these guys that have all this money and blah blah blah, they're miserable too. But the guys that like me, that's a blue collar worker or whatever, those are the guys that's kind of secure with themselves, because you gotta remember that we see it in the movies all the time, or whatever. The guys with the most money or whatever like that, there's something always wrong with them.
Well, I would not say that.
Well, I mean, it's just like what Moneybag Yo say. Money didn't change. Money didn't change me. It just changed my situation.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, and when I heard Moneybag Yo say that, I said, that makes sense. Because a lot of guys can have a whole bunch of money, or even women can have a whole bunch of money. It doesn't change who you are.
Yeah.
It just changes your situation.
Right.
So, no matter if I have millions of dollars or I got $1,000, I'm still going to be the same person.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things I liked about him is he was very, very like comfortable in his own skin. Hey, Christy T, thank you so much for joining. All of you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I want to ask you, because one of the issues and one of the things that I talk about in the book is balance. And I was doing an interview about the book and I said, for me, I didn't really have balance. That's one of the things that we kind of struggle with initially. With you saying, Christal, you're I didn't have a cutoff, right? So when I would work from 6 something in the morning. When I get up, sure, I'm on my phone, answering emails, talking. If I get in, and I mean, till I fall asleep, my phone is right there. My computer is right there in the bed. I did not really have a cutoff. And so I also didn't have balance. Anytime I was on vacation, it was work. I didn't ever disconnect. And that was something that was difficult for another person to come in my life and see. So can you talk a little bit about how that felt for you and then why that was not attractive to you?
Well, first of all, if anyone have kids out there and have young men or boys, a boy, a man or a young man or a boy always want the attention of their mother. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So once you leave the nest, I'm just this is me speaking. Mm-hmm. When you leave the nest of your parents or your mother or whoever, you want that attention because you don't have that attention that you had at home anymore. Mm-hmm. So when you come home, you want that attention. Mm-hmm. And the thing about with you, you was always working, and you never took time out for yourself. I remember this is one thing that I kind of forced it on you. You was kind of upset about it, but then in the end, you enjoyed yourself, mm-hmm, and to see that smile on your face, that's what made me know, hey, Adrian, you did the right thing. Your surprise birthday party.
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Your surprise birthday party. I
forgot about that.
With dating you, you was always working, and never took time out for yourself. Mm-hmm. And for your birthday, I had planned your surprise birthday party for like a month and a half. And you asked me, like, Adrian, why did you do this? And I said, out of all the hard work that you do or whatever like that, you never take time out for yourself. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted you to have that one day, your birthday, no cell phones, no computers, no nothing. I just wanted you to have that one day where you have enjoyed yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's what I had wanted to do.
I forgot about that. Okay, so I have to tell you guys what happened. So I never planned my birthday. I'm not one of those people that celebrates like for a month or anything like that. So I don't even know how he decided to do this, but he had found some of my good friends and gotten everybody together and basically planned a surprise party on a boat, right? For my birthday. I had no clue. And I am also somebody that does not like to be surprised because I like to know what everything is doing. I have a lot of friends, but I don't really put the attention on myself. So when we come to the boat and it's all my friends, I'm like, and I also have a lot of different friend groups that I don't mix. So he had mixed all the friend groups, right? So I was like, what is going on? You're here. But I had never had someone put that much time and energy into surprising me and really saying you deserve this. It was very unexpected. I thought we were just going to dinner, the two of us. And maybe one of my other friends. I had no idea. And it was beautiful. And I just had no idea, that he was doing that or that he would even put that. I mean, it was very nice. It was on Lake Lanier. It was absolutely beautiful. And it was a beautiful surprise, but it was definitely uncomfortable for me because I'm not used to being the center of attention. I'm used to putting the attention on other people. So That was, and then all my friends were like, okay, he's the one, we love Adrian. Right? So it was a beautiful experience, and my kids were both there. Two of his 1 year daughters was there.
Yeah.
And it was I think the start of us, like, really kind of meshing together. I forgot about that. Mimi asked, what are you guys pet peeves?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. He seems really excited about that question. So my pet peeve. All right. I mean, first of all, our birthdays are 2 days apart. My birthday is October 3rd. His birthday is October 5th. And we actually got married on the 4th the following year. So 3, 4, 5 is our little personal holiday. But as a result of that, we are very alike. And it can be difficult. Sometimes you think it would be cool to be with someone that's just like you, but sometimes it's like I know what he's thinking, because I'm thinking the same way. Um, I'm trying to think of like pet peeves that are. I know your pet peeve of me.
What is that?
I'm kind of messy. I'm not. I just have stuff everywhere, especially like in my bedroom. Like the living room will be clean. The kitchen won't be super bad. Maybe like 1 or 2 dishes in the sink, but my bedroom stuff will just be all over because I'm used to not having to share a bedroom with anybody but myself. Like I have a lot of clothes, um, and he doesn't like that. Yeah.
My pet peeve is organization. You got to be organized. I cannot. I can't do the unorganization. But you have been working on it.
I am working on it.
She has been working on it. I remember I remember one time when we was at your house and you had, like you said, you had all your stuff all over the place or whatever. And I just remember when I woke up, I said, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. We're gonna get together. And you was mad at me. And I bought all these containers, I bought all this stuff, and I was like, man, we are getting this house together. I can't do it. And she was mad at me. I remember that. He was like, was you making me do this? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I do remember that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
That is one of my
He's like a military person. People, they like things like everything has to be super ordered and everything. I basically just feel like, it's just when you have been on your own by yourself, into your 40s, we both have different ways of living. And so we just had different ways of living. My bedroom is like my place for there's makeup everywhere, it's clothes. That's necessary. Angelia says, how long we've been married? We have been married what, a little over a year and a half?
Yes.
A little over a year and a half. And it is all about just growing and learning. I learned so much. For me, I learned a lot. Being single for a long time, I also learned a lot. Being married, for my first marriage, I don't want to. There was a lot of things I did not want to repeat. I wanted to get right this time. So we try to keep communication open. But what I will say is it's a lot easier to do that with someone that you have a lot in common with. One of the things that we had in common, I like horses, I like land. And so he does as well, and so we both kind of want the same things in life. And that kind of helped.
Yeah. With you saying that, we both like land and all this, I told when Christal and I first started talking, I told her that I'm a country boy. She was like, "You ain't no country boy." I said, "Look, I'm just a country boy. I'm just a country boy from South Carolina."
He did say that.
Yeah, I'm from South Carolina, from Orangeburg, South Carolina, and she was like, "You ain't no country boy." So like she was talking about our first date or whatever. Man, that was the first time I really got a chance to really ride horses, and I always wanted to ride horses. And we got out there and I was on them horses and I was like, yeah, like, let's get it. And she was like, her eyes just got big and like, what are you doing? I said, look, you only live once, and you got to have fun. One thing about Krista and I, we do have our disagreements. And, one thing that we have established, and I kind of told her about this. There's a difference, and this is one thing that we have planned to talk about, in the near future. there's a difference in between an issue
Mm-hmm.
and a problem.
Right.
And I think that when we talk, and when we talk, when we have our disagreements or whatever, and I'll ask her sometimes, is this an issue or is this a problem?
Yeah.
Because there's two different there's two different things, when you could, when you say that. Well, Adrian, this is the problem. This is a problem. No, I don't see it as a problem. I see it as an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, just like for you and I, like you said, the communication that we keep, that, I mean, we're older now.
Mm-hmm.
You're that age and I'm that age. And we're mature. We're grown. And we're empty nesters. So it's time for us to enjoy each other and just be honest.
Yeah.
With each other, and I think that going through the things that we went through in life, it actually set us up for success instead of being a whole freaking war zone.
Yeah. I think that for me it's like I did say speak for myself on the age. I didn't need him to say that.
well, I said I didn't say how old you were.
Hey,
I just said you're that age and I'm this age. So
anyway, so Christy says, I know I'm late, so I'm not sure if y'all touched on this, but your spiritual connection, how did you guys build that connection? What do you actively do to keep that connection strong? So when we first started dating, it was really seriously dating. It was during COVID, like once we really started spending time together. And so we would watch church online a lot. And we talked, spirituality is really big for me. I read my Bible every day.
And she and one thing, Christal said to me, she's like, Adrian, we got to find that connection, and into God and religious and stuff like that. So I came to her one night and I said, well, since you read your Bible every night, read it to me. Mm-hmm. So, she every now and then she'll read it to me, unless I'm extremely tired, because she knows once I turn on one side,
he's gone to sleep.
It's
and over. I usually read it before I go to bed. But we also or look for a church here together that we could both enjoy, because for me it was important that we get some accountability. When we first got together, we did counseling with a therapist, and then he had a good friend that was a pastor that ended up being we had two pastors marry us, but one of them was a good friend of his, and he had given us a lot of counseling and everything. But that's something that's important for us to have a church home that we can connect with. We're actually doing a marriage. We're doing a workshop at our church, and the church that we're planning to join. We're doing a workshop there later this month, and so we'll hopefully be able to share some of that with you guys. So Success is Mine says, can you explain the difference between an issue and a problem?
Okay, so all right, let's go back to when someone said earlier about your pet peeves. Mm-hmm. So my issue is that you're not organized, right? Mm-hmm. That's an issue. It's not a problem. Yeah, that could be rectified.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
That is something that you can rectify. A problem is like something that's long lasting. Mm-hmm. Like, we all know that a lot of couples, a lot of divorces and stuff end up in financial issues. Yeah, that's one of the leading things. Yeah, why people get divorced. Mm-hmm. And I see, when you know that you're in so much debt or whatever, and it becomes a problem. Yeah, that becomes a problem in a marriage because it's long lasting. Mm-hmm. An issue can be fixed within a short period of time. Mm-hmm. Problems are long lasting. That's the difference in my definition of an issue and a problem. Yeah. So
I agree. I think it's just the I guess the weight of it, right? So I think if like trust is a problem. If you don't trust each other, that's a problem. When we first met, Adrian smoked cigarettes, and I was like, I am not okay with the cigarette smokes. And I remember being a little bit concerned, but I had also got to the point where I was very honest about what I was willing to do and what I wasn't willing to do. I told him that I was not willing to be with someone that smoked cigarettes. I was also not willing to live with someone that I wasn't married to. And I was not going to, I wasn't going to, certain things I just wasn't going to deal with. And so he stops, he stopped smoking cigarettes. But that was an issue, right? And because I was like looking at it, it wasn't character issue, character faults are problems, right? But the smoking of the cigarettes, even though I really didn't like it, he did stop. Now he vapes a lot, which I don't like, but that's an issue, right?
And smoke hookah.
He does. I also don't like that he smokes hookah, but he smokes hookah a lot. Whenever he goes out, Adrian likes to have a good time.
Me and my friend, me and my best friend.
So, but that's an issue. So I think a lot of times with women, I was talking to one of a guy that I work with in the business. He was saying, a lot of times women are so rigid on what they're willing to accept and what they're not. And they have these long lists. And he was like, to where if you leave a towel on the bathroom floor, she's like angry at you for days. And it's like, I can understand that perspective, because as a woman, a lot of times we're just, especially those of us that work a lot, you have life mapped out. This is how you think it's supposed to be. And when someone is not doing that, sometimes it can throw you off and you can feel like you're compromising. But it just literally, you have to think like that person is not you, and they have a different, yes, I hear you on the cancer stick, total deal breaker for me. I was not going to be kissing the cigarette smoke mouth. But I'm so glad that I didn't write him off. I gave him an opportunity to make the change. And it wasn't overnight. I think I found cigarettes like once or twice hidden, like he would try to, and then he would like relapse. And we got him, but it took him a while, but he did stop, and then I really appreciated him. And that's why with me and the organization, I'm like, okay, I have to get better with that, because that bothers him. So yeah, like Mimi says, just nothing's going to be perfect. And I think that's one of the biggest issues. A lot of times when I'm speaking on behalf of myself and the women I'm familiar with, you're so used to things going your way that anything outside of that is unacceptable. And if you truly want love, you're going to have to open up and be a little bit more flexible and allow the other person grace and if you want grace yourself. And so I think that for me, there were things that were different about Adrian, his background, that I wasn't necessarily the typical story that I would write if I was writing a perfect story. And I'm sure the same thing for me with him. But we gave each other grace because there was a lot of good that we saw there. And I'm very thankful that I did. And I don't think that I have ever had someone be so attentive to my needs and even my children, and even though the relationship with his children is not quite the same as I have with mine, I love them. And I hope that, I think, that, we really, whatever we can do to make things better, we'll do that together.
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's just, you just got to take your time with each other.
Yeah.
Everything, like you said, everything's not going to be peaches and cream, but the thing of it is, like you said, you had things that you had to deal with, and I had things I had to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's a constant evolution of learning.
Yeah.
Not even learning about life. It also includes learning things about you, learning things about me. You have kids, I have things to learn about them. I have kids, I have things I have to learn about them. So it's just a ongoing process of learning as much as you can.
Yeah.
And the best, and the best thing about it, like I always tell you, it's like, Adrian, why do you do such and such? Well, it's because I like it.
Smoking a hookah. He likes
it. I like smoking a hookah. I like it.
Yeah.
That is my time. That is me. Someone that is like you, that is involved in work, that's your me time. Me. But I just, like for me, like I tell you all the time, I work Monday through Friday. Friday night, I don't even think about work.
He doesn't. He does not think about work.
I don't think about work.
He does not think about work when he's done. I still deal with work, and I'm trying to learn more balance, but I'm never really not thinking about work. Nafisia asked, what qualities did you first notice within Christal that set her apart?
That's a good question. The thing that set Christal apart was, I don't know. It just goes back to that you not judging me.
Is that it?
No, I'm just saying it goes back to that. I'm not saying that that is like the focus point of it all, but the thing of it is, Christal knows what she wants. If she wants something, she's gonna go after it, and that she kind of reminds me of myself when I was in the military. If I want something, I'm gonna go get it. I don't care how I do it or whatever. I'm gonna get that. And I think for you, your ambition was that really drawn that to me. Mm-hmm. Drawing you to me, and it's just like I just fell in love with that. Your ambition. Everything that you always said that you wanted to do. You was like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and just like I tell you all the time, I'm your biggest cheerleader. If you want me to go out there and shake some pom poms, I go out there and shake some pom poms. But the thing of it is, you just always, just like you said, I've been consistent. You've been consistent, and it's been great. I laugh a lot. I like to have fun. My fun is not always your fun.
Yeah.
And her fun is not always my fun.
No.
But the thing of it is, we always come back together.
Yeah.
And
I think he's really become my best friend. But that didn't happen overnight. Mm-hmm. When you get to the point where, for me, I didn't really share a lot with anybody. Like when I'm scared about something, or when I'm really happy about something, he slowly became the person I wanted to share those things with. Where if I feel apprehensive or anxious about something, I actually will share it with him. And that's when I started realizing I was falling in love with him, when I actually felt comfortable doing that, because usually I keep those things close to my heart. And then he became the person that when there was something I was excited about, I would call him and tell him, and that's how, for me, it's like it just, because I felt like that was the most important thing about marriage, was a best friend. And so that became the case. Nafisa asked, do you want any more children with Christal? And we have 6 children between us.
Children are evil. Don't we know that?
A lot of children.
I mean, children are evil, especially nowadays.
Don't say that.
They're evil.
Don't say that.
They're evil.
Don't say that. We have enough children, I think. It did make me sad that when I did meet the person I was supposed to be with for the rest of my life, that we won't be able to have children together.
Yeah.
That did make me sad. But, it's just, I guess it wasn't supposed to be that way. Christy T says, when is the virtual book club panel for Dear Alpha Female? Just ordered my book. Thank you so much for ordering your book. We're going to start next Sunday. Every Sunday after, we're going to be doing Dear Alpha Female conversation based on the book.
No, I was just what she said.
Oh, so I'm excited about that. And congratulations, Lisa. Lisa says, today I celebrate 35 years of marriage. No, you guys are on the right path. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That is beautiful. And congratulations to you and your husband. That's the kind of things that we want to hear. Those are the type of things. We need you in the chat sharing some inspiration and tips for people to stay together, because I want you guys to know, like, this, to me, this is not necessarily about like saying, do this and, get a man. A man is not the goal. I don't think a man is the result, the end goal. I think that for me, finding balance and learning to accept myself for me, and then finding someone else that was able to love me for myself. And you guys heard him say the ambition was something that he found attractive. That just lets you know that, yes, there are men out there that are not turned off by career-driven and ambitious women, and women that are leaders. But I think that it's important, and you could speak to this, that it's important that you don't lead with work all the time.
Well, I mean, the thing of it is, one thing that we, like you and I talk about you said it earlier, the cutoff time, you gotta cut it off.
Yeah.
You gotta learn to cut it off, because you know if you're like always engaged all day long about work and this and that or whatever like that, you lose yourself in that.
Yeah.
When do you find time, just like like I was telling you about your birthday, when do you find time to do something for you?
Yeah. I had never had a birthday party like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Never had a surprise party till it's like 40
See, I didn't say nothing. I didn't say anything. But the thing of it is, no matter if you're male or female, if you're alpha or not an alpha, you still have to take time out for yourself.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about, just like you was on a radio show, a couple of weeks or a couple of days ago or whatever, about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Your mental health is everything.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I've learned throughout my life is I have to understand where I'm at in life and where I want to go. How am I going to get there? Am I going to take the easy route, or am I going to take the hard route? And sometimes, taking that hard route, you get lost. You get lost in that route,
mm-hmm.
and you forget about everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And all you do is focus on that route. If you take the easy route, then if you go around the situation, then it could seem too easy.
Yeah.
And it can and all the hard work, you won't reap the benefits of it if you take the easy route.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go through that hard path and sometimes you just got to take a break. Yeah. And say, hey, let me set up a campfire here and just relax.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the biggest thing for me mentally, and one of the things that I've always preached to you is to take time out for yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think is it Keywin Barnes? It's great to hear a guy chime in. Thank you. He says, I agree. If a woman isn't ambitious, that's a deal breaker for me. Let me ask you, Adrian, because I was asking him earlier, like, a lot of guys have said that they don't want. I was interviewing with two guys a couple of days ago, and they were saying that when they hear a career woman, it's an instant turnoff for them. So I want to ask you, a lot of times, why does it seem more difficult? Because you even said to me a couple of times that I was a lot, and it was it was an uphill battle sometimes, dating me and getting to know me. What made it worth that? And did you find it easier with some women that weren't as ambitious?
Women that are ambition have ambition. It's fun, because it's life is always like a game. It's like when you was a kid, when you play hide and seek.
Mm-hmm.
You hide over here. You gotta find that person. A woman that's not ambition, you play hide and seek with that person, then you already know where they're at. Well, why would you want to? That takes the fun out of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you already know what's going on, you already know where that person is hiding. That game is not fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you play,
can you break that into layman? Like, what do you mean? Like, give us a real example of, like, what is the difference in just real life? Like, what's the difference between a woman that's not ambitious and that just is waiting on, I guess, maybe wanting you to take care of her? Because that's another thing. When we met, I paid all my bills. I've always paid all my bills. I've had guys that have offered to, but I never felt comfortable allowing a guy to do that. And so I'm sure you've had women that wanted you to pay all their bills.
That's a turnoff. That's a turnoff for me.
But you did it.
I mean, yeah, I did it, but I wasn't happy.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And the reason I wasn't happy because you're always depending on me.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just like raising a child.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? If a woman is always dependent on me, not saying that's if that's what you're into, hey, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy, that makes you happy. But I know for me, that is a turnoff for me, because of the fact of it is, if I pay all your bills or whatever, granted, if you and I we're married, we're in a a real relationship. Of course, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But as in, like, if I'm just dating you and you're saying, and the first thing that come out your mouth is, "Hey, I need money for this," that's a turnoff for me.
Mm-hmm.
I may give you $150 or whatever, or what you need or whatever, but 9 times out of 10 for me, I'm gonna ghost you because of the fact of it is that tells me that you're easy. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact of it is, like, if you, that means, like, if you ask me for $150 to pay a bill or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then you know what? Another guy that says, "Hey, I'll give you $200."
Mm-hmm. It's interesting how they think so different. So, but also I want to be honest. So when he did it, when we first started dating, I didn't ask for anything,
Oh, you didn't ask for anything.
and he started trying to take things and take care of it for me, right? So I will say, because Chrissy asked, "Don't y'all want to feel needed?" So how were you able to? Because I never asked him for anything, but as the more we started dating and the closer we got, Adrian started just saying, "Here, take this money and go do this," or he started taking care of things naturally. And so how can you explain how you wanted to? How did you? I guess how did you feel needed, even though I didn't really ask you for anything?
I think let me say to this point, and I hopefully that everyone gets it. Being financial, paying bills and stuff like that, that is not being needed.
Okay.
That is being wanted,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. And the reason I say that is because, like I said, paying bills and being financially or whatever like that, that is a want. It's not a need. A need is, just like someone told me a long time ago. One of my mentors told me there's a difference in a want and a need. A want is, hey, I want to have uh, a nice car.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need a nice car?
Mm-hmm.
Or do
Yeah,
you just
functional car.
or do you need a car just to get you back and forth to work?
Mm-hmm.
Or you
Mm-hmm.
need a car to go back, to go back and forth. All these, you see all these people with all this luxury stuff, and they iced out and all this and that. Do they need that? No. I mean, just think about it. The guy that owns Facebook, he walks around with a ripped up T-shirt and
Mm-hmm.
and wore down pants, and he's one of the richest people in the world. He can get anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The things that he need is essentials, the bare essentials: a roof, food, water, clothing, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
All that other stuff is a want. And I just think that when you're talking about referencing love and relationships, money doesn't drive love.
No, it doesn't.
You know what
That's a
I'm saying?
good point, babe.
What drives love is what you give each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or what do each other need?
Yeah.
I may need, when I come home from work or whatever like that, I may need, like, if my shoulders bother me, I need, I can't massage myself.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I need you, baby. Hey, can you rub my shoulder for me?
Mm-hmm.
That's a need.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you, that and then, like, if Christal is working late or whatever like that, and she's like, man, I'm hungry, baby. Okay, well, I know that she needs to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? That's a need.
Yeah.
That's how I feel needed. Because if you can't do it, I have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always financially.
Yeah, but he did do things that let me know, to Pamela's point, that he could be a provider. So, and that was attractive to me. Like, I have a studio at my house and I had one. And so I would tell him I couldn't come to his house because he would want me to come over there and spend time with him. And I'd be like, well, I have to stay here because I have to go live and I have an interview. And so he built a studio at his house. And he didn't tell me what he was doing. He just did it. And then he was like, okay, so now you have a studio at your house, at my house, so you can come over here. And that really showed me that, oh, wow, like that's, it's not just about the money. It's about the fact that he understood this is something that he believed in what I was trying to do. My horse, I tried to find a place for my horse and he found a place. He found a place for my horse that was like 5 minutes from his house. So I was like, all right, sir.
Nah, that's not the point.
You did.
I mean, I did, but the thing of it is, I knew that, okay, first of all, I got you a studio. I put a studio, at my house for you, right? And the thing about it, like the, going back to that need and that want. I needed you when I was off from work or whatever like that. I needed to spend time with you. You understand what I'm saying? It's not that I wanted to spend time with you. Like I said, there's a difference in wants and needs. And when you said find a horse 5 minutes away from you, okay, you're with me, this specific time, and I know that you love horses too. So why not incorporate it all together?
He wanted me close, Chrissy. You're right. I was like, this. He has put the horse place close to him, so I was there. But it's all good, Greta. I want to get a few more questions in before we go. This has been a great conversation, and I really hope this is you guys get in any questions that you want to ask, because I really wanted to do this to kick this off. Greta asked, which one of you decided when it was time to get engaged? Did you have a time limit, Christal, as to how long you would date without marriage? I didn't have a definite time limit. I did not. I said I wasn't going to live together. See, this is the thing. This is our thing. I told him I was not going to move in and live with him unless we were married, right? But I did not have a. I knew I wasn't going to date somebody indefinitely. But I did not. I did not know that he was planning to propose. A lot of people thought that he was going to propose at my birthday party because he had done this. He spent so much. He did so much for the birthday. But what did you? He decided that it was time to get engaged. What made you decide that you wanted us to get engaged?
I was happy. You brought a lot of happiness out of me, and the thing about it is, I was having fun, and and one thing about what when I said, well, I'm going to ask this woman to marry me. What took me by storm was, like I said, my happiness, and it was fun. And believe it or not, I tell Christal all the time, I'm a big kid. I am a big kid.
They're all big kids.
Yeah, I'm a big kid. But the thing of it is that I knew that you wasn't going to change. My happiness and my fun wasn't going to change because of we got married. All it was going to do was intensify it. So I that's when I knew I was having fun. I was happy. I didn't have no worries. I didn't have to worry about if she's going this place and this guy's trying to holler at her or whatever like that. Because the fact of it is, like I tell Chris all the time, when she's going something, I tell her, I said, have fun. And she'll be like, Adrian, I'm not gonna have fun. I'm like, but whatever you make of it, it's gonna be fun. And what I got from you and I is that our relationship is happy and fun. And I never really had that before. Because, like I said, like I'm a big kid, and I do love you. You do know that. I'll do anything for you, But the thing of it is, I was happy. I was really happy. It was a big smile on my face constantly. I didn't have that wondering mind in the back of my head of, is this the one? And do I have to worry about what she's doing? Is she's going to be good to me? Is she going to treat me good? Blah, blah, blah. You had already done that. You were already wife material in my eyes because of the fun and the happiness that I had. So that's when I knew that I had to marry.
A lot of women of color. So yes, Mimi said earlier, and I just want to speak to this really quickly. She said I had to stop. I had to change my thinking and stop saying I didn't need a man. I need my husband in many ways. I agree. I had to, because I was saying that, I had been saying that but I will tell you all, the honest truth is when women say that, especially women that are not married, it is a defense because it feels better to say I don't need something than to say I do need it and it's not coming to me. It may not come to me. That's one of the 48 laws of power, is to despise what you cannot have, right? And so if someone doesn't like you or something you're not getting what you want, despise that. That's literally like one of the 48 laws of power. And me being a very ambitious person, I studied that, you know what I mean? So I think subconsciously a part of me was like, every time I would get discouraged or I would have a bad experience, I was like, I'm not going to let myself keep being heartbroken. I'm not gonna, I'm, I'm in my 30s. I don't want to be heartbroken all the time. It got to be 40. I don't want to be heartbroken. So, I don't need that. You know what I mean? I have a great career. I've got good friends. I like where I live. My kids are doing great. I don't need that. But the reality was I did need it. And so I did have to change my thinking. I had to change what I said out of my mouth. I also had to stop saying that there weren't any good men. And so that's one of the very tangible things that I changed, was what came out of my mouth. I will say that, Adrian and I talked, and he would always say, Christal, you are really hard on men. And I didn't realize that. So I've had to even, still continue to change the way I speak. But I noticed that I stopped saying things, letting things come out of my mouth that were counterproductive to what I really truly wanted. And so when I went on Iyanla Vanzant, if you guys have on demand, you can watch that episode. It's like Winning in Career, Losing in Love. It's season 8, episode 4. Fix My Life. But it really helped me to understand I did want it. I was afraid that I wouldn't get it because I didn't see my mother in a happy relationship. My mother stopped dating. My grandmother definitely did not want to date anymore after divorcing her third husband. And so I did not think that that I could have a happy relationship. And so when I met Adrian was consistent, and I was just like, wow, this guy is, there's nothing, like, he admitted his faults early on. We had a conversation and he was like, this is who I am. This is who I am from the jump. Like, this is it. He laid everything out on the table, and I had never had someone be that honest and consistent.
The one thing I do want to say is that even man or woman, I'm not picking on anybody or anything like that. One thing I've learned throughout my life is, if you're in a dating scene or whatever like that, never take the other person's choice away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you allow someone to take your choice away from you, they're gonna feel like they can do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it, like when I laid out all my cards on the table, about me or whatever, I gave you the choice.
Yeah.
To either accept it or not accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to go and accept it, then we moved on. But and I know I may get a lot of flack for this or whatever like that, but the whole, I like Beyonce, the whole nine, and we have talked about this before. When Beyonce said, "Hey, I'm independent. I need a man to pay my money, pay my bills, pay this and that, whatever like that." I think that was a movement. And the thing about it, that's how women have projected that out there so much.
Oh, can you pay my bills?
Yeah,
can you pay my telephone bill?
Yeah, women have projected that out there to men so much that when a man, like if you're in a club or you out and about or whatever like that, and a man says, "Hey, let me buy you a drink,"
mm-hmm.
or whatever, right? Switch it around on him. Say, "Hey, let me buy you a drink then."
Well, I'm not saying that.
I mean, I know, but what I'm saying to that is, you're not too independent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact of it is, like you just said, I'm not telling no man, I'm not buying no man no drink.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why not?
I'm just not.
What is the difference?
Well, I never hit on men.
No, it ain't even about hitting on men. It's about, like you said, you give a little, get a little, right?
Yeah.
If I say buy me a drink, if I say let me buy you a drink, and you're like, you're so independent, why would you let me buy you a drink? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Why you can't buy me a drink?
Yeah.
It's all about that give and take, that give and take. And
but you would never let me even pay for dates.
I mean, I know that because that is instilled in me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you met out and about,
mm-hmm.
and I say, "Hey, let me buy you a drink,"
mm-hmm.
of course you're gonna let me buy you a drink.
Yes, I am.
Right?
Yes.
But if you switch it around and say, "Hey," if a guy come up to you and say, "Hey, let me buy you a drink," you say, "No, let me buy you a drink."
Okay.
That right there, I'm gonna be honest with you, my heart melts.
You get so girls are buying you drinks?
No, I'm just saying that is a turn on.
He's giving you guys some game. Greta says everybody should just buy their own drinks. I actually stopped doing that though. I agree, Greta, because what happened is a lot of times a guy buy you a drink and then he wants to stand there and talk to you all night. So I would just say no, thank you. I got to where I was.
Somebody's just a drink.
Yeah, but people, I don't think women want to buy the drinks. Adrian.
No, I'm not saying do it all the time.
We don't want to buy them at all.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. You know, men, I want to make sure I say this correctly because I don't want to offend nobody. Um, Men, yes, you know, my daughter said something to me one time. She was like, well, Daddy, that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If I say, hey, I'm gonna buy you a drink, it's because I want to do it, not because of the fact of that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Chrissy says, new example, Adrian.
A new example?
Yes.
Who said that?
Christy says, you need a new example. It's a new, give the ladies another example, Adrian. But now, let me ask you this, because I know we got to get ready to go. Because there's so many women that say, one of the ladies said that she was divorced. She's been single for a while. She wants to put herself out there. What advice would you give women that have like how I was, haven't dated in a while, are used to being by themselves, but want to put themselves out there and want to meet a nice man, an amazing guy?
I would say the biggest thing I've always told you, know your worth. That's number one. Know your worth. If a man, okay, you know, different strokes for different folks. If a man come to you and the first thing that comes out of his mouth is how much money he got and blah blah blah, all you want to do is just pay for it. You know what I'm saying? If you know, if you come to you, if a man comes to you and say, like you said, use a better example. The man say, hey, let me buy you a drink. It's all about the approach, if that makes sense. If a man approaches you a certain way, you already know. You know, just like you have your girlfriends at the bar or whatever. Like, girl, I mean, you already know, girl, this guy here, he ain't about that. But depending on how a guy approaches you, you already know what kind of feeling you're gonna get from him. You know what I'm saying? If he's gonna be, if he buy you a drink and he's gonna be there all night or not, you know what's gonna happen. But the thing of it is, you just gotta know your worth, know what you want, and what and also know what you need.
I think that's a good point. I think a lot of times what we want and what we need are two different things, right? So you may want somebody that is 6'3", 6'4", and make six figures, but that may not necessarily be what you need. I remember this. I went to a matchmaker with Chili one time. We were on her show, What Chili Wants, years ago. We went to a matchmaker, and I was like, I want somebody that's 6'3". And the lady was like, well, how tall are you? And I'm like, I'm 5'2". And she was like, well, why do you need all those extra inches? I was like, that's just what I want, but I really would not date somebody if they didn't have certain things. And I realized that was silly, because that's not what I actually needed. Now, thankfully, the package that God sent me is 6'2". So I just happened to get lucky. But the point is, I had to focus on the inside, the things on the inside first. And then also you have to realize, I think, that God wants us to have the desires of our heart. And I think I was afraid, like, oh my God, if I trust God, is he going to send me somebody I'm not attracted to? Is he going to send me somebody that's corny, that's lame, that's annoying? And that's the wrong way to think. You're supposed to realize that you deserve to have a man that loves you, that you love, that you are compatible with in all the different ways that there are, and stop listening to the negativity that's around you. And I think, like with my work, when I first started working in PR here, people told me that I was not going to be able to break into the industry because I didn't go to a HBCU. That did not deter me at all. I was like, y'all must be crazy. I'm not going to let that stop me. Well, the same thing about dating. When people say there are no good men and all the men, like it's easy for us to overcome stereotypes when it comes to work. I mean, every Black woman that I know has obliterated stereotypes when it comes to what we're supposed to have. Think about our culture as a whole, how we're constantly able to push past what we're supposed to have. We were literally slaves over 100 years ago. And now we are the top group of entrepreneurs in the world, Black women. So if we can push past stereotypes when it comes to that, we definitely can push past stereotypes when it comes to believing that God has an amazing partner out there for us. If that's what you want, I'm not saying that should be what everybody wants, because it may not be. But if it is what you want, then don't be afraid to acknowledge that, and don't be afraid to believe it and walk by faith. And that's really what tonight is about. I thank all of you guys so much.
I said laughing.
I
The
said
way
I
that
love
I'm
the
a girl
way
dad, so I know all the
he
antics.
has 4 daughters. So he's
I
when
know
I
all the
that's
antics.
when we first met, he was all he it was very clear that he had been around girls, growing. He's had four daughters and probably dated, a few women. So he's definitely versed.
I mean, and another thing too. I don't mean to cut you off. Another thing too, with me having daughters, I think that helped me understand a lot of women. I ain't say all women. I just say a lot.
Yeah.
Because there are some women out there that's just that's way out there. But the thing of it is, like, each one, like, for a fact that each one of my daughters have a different personality, and I've named them. And you was like, Adrian, why did you name them that? And I
Their
explained
nicknames are based on their personalities. Yeah.
And you was like, that makes sense.
After I got to know them a little bit better, I was like, okay, that makes sense why he named them that. So, well, we have went way over time, but I appreciate you guys for hanging out. It's been a great conversation. Feel free, if you have additional questions, to leave them here. You can always also hit me on Instagram for any questions or information. Please get your copy of the book. The book, like I said, is available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Target, and also on the website, which is dearalphafemale.com. I will be here tomorrow at 8, and we will be talking to Blue, who was let go from Ready to Love on Friday. And I cannot wait to talk to him about that episode on Friday. It was a lot. And actually, tomorrow during the day, I will be back with Brenda, and we will be talking about tonight's episode of Real Housewives of Potomac, that final reunion episode. Can't wait to get into it with you guys about that. But thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you all got something from this conversation. Thank you for hanging out with me today.
No problem, baby.
And being a part of my.
Let me tell you something else. Hey, get that book. Get the book. I mean, nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect. I am gonna say that nothing's perfect, but it's what you put into. Like I said earlier, what you put into is what you're gonna get. And the thing about it, she knows. She's starting to learn where the bodies are buried. But but the thing of it is that the only way that we, as Black, white, Hispanic, the whole nine, we have to support each other. And and I hope that everyone gets something from this. And the fact of it is, like, I know that this woman is true about everything that she says. And we said something about them country boys. But the thing of it is, we have to support each other. And just something I tell my daughters, and I tell Christal, and my daughters, like I said, my daughters are basic training right now. And in the words of Adrian Jennings, be better than you was yesterday. Make today practice for you to be better tomorrow. And I just live. That's what I live by. I'm always better than I was yesterday, and today prepares me to be better for tomorrow. So, support. Get out there, tell a friend, and have that friend tell a friend. Let's get out there and make things powerful, because word of mouth is the best way to.
It is, especially when people have testimony.
Yeah.
Jay, I just want to say real quickly before we leave, Jay's comment is, I excel in my career because it's something I know how to do. Finding love is not. I haven't given up. And that is why I wrote this book. I am the same as you. I am confident when it comes to work. I know PR forwards and backwards. If you guys know anything about my background, I literally, this past week, I have been placing things on Entertainment Tonight, Access Hollywood. I know PR backwards and forwards. When it came to love, it was something I was uncomfortable with because I had failed, I'd gotten hurt, and I couldn't control it. It's not something you can control. When we're not able to control something, it makes us vulnerable and it makes us fear. It alerts that little girl inside of us that has learned to kind of shield herself behind work. And that really is exactly who this book is for. Women that are able to feel comfortable in work and not able to feel comfortable in love. And so I implore you to get the book, stay connected here. We're going to have conversations. We're going to go through the entire book together. And just like tonight was about asking questions, us answering your questions. That's what this entire series is going to be about. It's going to be an interactive workshop. The title of this book is Dear Alpha Female, It's Not Him, It's You. It's an interactive devotional designed to help you attract the love you deserve. Everyone deserves love. And like I said, it's not about love being with a man being the prize. It's really about finding balance for you. And that's going to attract the right person. And so I just wanted this to be a testimony. I am somebody that is putting my money where my mouth is. I'm practicing what I preach. If you guys saw that show on Iyanla, that was 3 years ago. And I had been single for 11 years, and within a year and a half of that, I was engaged. And it really is because I changed my outlook. I changed what I allowed to come out of my mouth, and I started to walk by faith. And so I would encourage you to get the book. I would also just encourage you to start looking at love differently and not as something that you don't do well, but something that you're trusting God to bring to you, because God put us here to be with each other and to support each other. He didn't put any of us here to be an island and to be alone. So whether that's sister friends, whether that's just friendships and family, or if that's romantic love, we all deserve to have that in our lives. So that is the message for tonight. Again, I thank my husband for coming in and hanging out with us tonight. I thank you guys for watching. It means so much. Make sure that you like the channel before you leave here and share this conversation. We got in a lot of great questions and hopefully some insight. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow for yes, Kathy says, I am from Jersey. I need a good countryman. I think everybody, I used to think I liked East Coast guys. I was dating guys from New York, and
Country.
who knew I needed somebody from South Carolina. You
Two
guys,
dirt roads.
You guys have a great night, and I'll see you all later this week. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good night. Bye-bye.